Hello, good afternoon. This is the David Soto talking to you, and what I'm going to start doing now is every weekend, every Saturday or Sunday, I'm going to put together like a weekly trade analysis. But what I'm going to call this is my weekly trade predictions. Okay, and with my weekly trade predictions, I'm going to take the major currency pairs. I'm going to use Hugo's way for this demonstration. Okay, for this video. Okay, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick these major pairs right here: USD, CHF. Pound dollar, euro dollar, Japanese yen, US dollar, Canadian dollar, Australian dollar, US dollar, and New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Okay, I'm going to pick these major pairs, and then I'm going to give you my prediction on what I think is going to happen with these, and I'm going to show you why. I'm going to give you some fundamental basics and just kind of show you with my Excalibur trend indicator what I think is going to happen in the market. Okay, so to start with, US dollar, Swiss franc, USD, CHF. I'm going to start by showing you on the 4-hour chart, okay? And on the 4-hour chart, it looks like it hit a strong level of support and it's getting ready to come up. So I feel that it's definitely going to be going up this week. But if we look here, we can see a downtrend. And we know this has been going down, right? So whenever you get a signal to buy or sell, doesn't matter, you need to look at the previous trend. So now we have an up arrow. So we need to look at the previous downtrend that coming down to this up arrow. So if I draw a trend line coming from this point down to here, okay, like this. Okay, so that's a pretty good downtrend. Okay, you need at least 3 points to have a perfect downtrend. Okay, so here we got 1, 2, 3, kind of 4, 5 basic points that line up to make this downtrend. Okay, now the problem is once this price comes up and breaks out of this, then we'll have a new uptrend. Okay, so as of right now, I would not buy. Alright, once this breaks above, that is the time to buy. It very well could, and most likely will, go up and touch this trend line. And my guess is that this is going to bounce off of this trend line and come down further. If we look at the higher time frames, like the daily, we see a down arrow but no up arrow, meaning that overall this is still in a downtrend. Okay, if we look at the weekly, we see a down arrow. Monthly, I don't think so. Yeah, you see a down arrow in the monthly. So overall, this is definitely in a downtrend. Okay, in the long term. In the short term, this week is probably going to go up, hit this trend line, and come down more, even further. That's what I'm guessing. If I look at a 1 hour, yeah, I see a up arrow. It actually come up a ways and back down again. That's not a good sign as far as buying. Same thing on a 30-minute. It come up and back down to the same level, and it looks like it's trying to go back up again. Okay, so this week, I'm thinking it's probably going to go back up towards this trend line somewhere, maybe in this area right here, and bounce off and come back down. Because the overall trend is bearish, meaning it's going to go down. Alright, so this is my prediction for US dollar Swiss franc, is that in the early stages of this week, it's going to go up, and probably about the middle of the week on Wednesday, it's going to bounce off this trend line at some point and come back down even more. It's going to continue itself on a downtrend. Alright, so I would probably place a sell limit, pin and order, somewhere up here on this trend line. I would wait, however, wait a day or so to see exactly what happens with this. If it keeps dropping. But I definitely would not place a buy trade right now. Even though it shows that it's going up, it's going to be a very slow process, and it's probably not going to go up too much. Okay, so keep that in mind. Bearish for the long term. Okay, now for pound USD. All right, let me go to the pound USD. We have kind of the same situation here. Okay, on the 4-hour chart, we're showing a strong uptrend, and we look at the previous downtrend coming to this up arrow, right? And it looks like it's going to an uptrend, right? But if we draw a trend line coming down like this, if we mark this is a downtrend, then it is nowhere near. All right, hitting this. If I come down like this, I don't know, I could say that this is the level of resistance. Even though all the points aren't perfectly connected, I could say that this is a downtrend right here as well. And then if I switch to a smaller time frame, like 1 minute or 30 minute, we see these points pretty much connect. And on 30 minute, we show it's going down right now. All right. If we look on the daily, however, it shows up, and the weekly also shows it going to go up. So this past week, the Great British Pound had been dropping quite a bit this past week, but now it looks like it's finally wanting to go up. If, in fact, this is going to be going into a long uptrend, then we need to wait for this trend line to break. As of right now, according to the 30-minute chart, it's going down. And what's probably going to happen, we can go ahead and mark this right here as a strong level of support, according to the 4-hour chart. If I draw a horizontal line right here, all right, we have what's called a falling wedge pattern. You see this wedge pattern? It makes like a triangle, a basis of a triangle. Okay, and based on what I'm seeing right now, this is going to come back down. Probably touch this horizontal line here. This is your base support, your very strong support line, and then it's going to bounce back up again and touch this trend line and break out and form a new uptrend. Okay. As of right now, for this week, I'm thinking that this price is going to be dropping for most of this week, and then later, going into next week, is when you're going to see this break out again. Probably the first half of the week it's going to drop to this support line, and then the rest of the week is going to bounce back up towards this trend line, and then going into next week is when you'll see this break out. So as of right now, I would be selling, all right, going into the beginning of this week. So definitely you want to sell right now, get a few hundred pips, and then wait for this to bounce off of this horizontal line. Once it's bounced off of it, you're probably, I'm not saying 100% certain, but you're probably good for a long-term buy. Okay, that is my thinking. But we know that this is a very strong level of support, and once this finally breaks this trend line, you're good for a long-term buy. Okay, so anyhow, that's pound USD. Next is Euro USD. All right, we kind of see a similar situation here, and on the 4-hour chart, okay, we see it has a buy and it's been going up a ways, right? But if we draw a downtrend coming to this, let me zoom out a bit. We draw a downtrend. I guess I could draw from here, maybe like that. So we got 1, 2, 3 points that line up to make a downtrend line. Okay, and we also see this point of support down here that was hit 2 times. So that's a pretty strong level of support. And I'm going to mark that with a line here. Okay, now right now the price is at this level of resistance, this trend line, and the question is it going to come down or keep going up? I'm thinking it's going to come down, because if we go to a smaller time frame like the 1 hour, even 30 minute, okay, we see a strong level of resistance getting ready to come back down. So if we go to the 1 hour, for example, and look, I'm already zoomed all the way out, but I'm thinking it's going to come back down and possibly touch this level of support again, and then bounce back up. And once it bounces back up, it's going to break this trend line and keep going up. Okay, so in the beginning of this week, it's definitely going to be coming down based on what I'm seeing right now, and then towards the end of the week, it's going to retrace and go back up, and probably going into next week it's going to break this trend line and continue up. All right, so that's Euro USD. Next is USD Japanese Yen, which is a little odd. We had seen this come up and back down again, and it looked like it's hitting a strong level of support here. Okay, now if we draw a trend line here, I don't know, like this, we see that it broke this trend line, but whenever this is basically a resistance, and once any level of resistance is broken, it now becomes a support. So what we can see is that this price it broke, but then it bounced off of it again, so it became a support, right? And then it come back down to this support again. And if we go to a smaller time frame like the 1 hour, we see we have a strong buy. So my prediction is that, okay, this is definitely a support, and it's going to bounce off of this, and we go into an uptrend this week. If we look at the weekly, all we have is an up arrow here, and the daily shows down, but we have this level of support right here, and I could draw a line right here. So it very well could come down further to this level of support and go up, but as of right now, it's already near this level of support, and that's close enough. So considering the fact that we have a buy on the 1 hour, I would be definitely looking for this to be going up. All right, if we look on the 1 hour, and we draw another downtrend right here, then all we have to do here is wait for this to break this trend line, and we know for a fact that we have a continuous uptrend. All right, normally USD JPY will kind of do the reverse of other USD pairs. So if you see all the other USD pairs going down, USD JPY will be going up. That's typically what happens with this. So watch for this to be going up this week. It should break this trend line, and we should have a strong uptrend going in, going for most of this week. So I would be definitely looking to buy. Watch the smaller time frames like 15 minute and 5 minute or whatever. Look for buy signals only. All right, and catch small movements. If you look here on the 15 minute and 5 minute, there's a lot of buy signals. There's more buy signals than there are sell signals. Even right now, the market's closed today, but I can guarantee you that this is going to be going up based on what we see for the long-term trend. Next is the USD CAD, USD CAD, US dollar, Canadian dollar. We look at the 4 hour chart, kind of see kind of a similar situation here. We see a strong level of resistance and a strong level of support down here, and this market is moving in a flat horizontal motion called a ranging market. All right, there really is no trend, so to speak. So we kind of stuck at the moment. If we look at the daily, we see we hit this level of resistance here, and all we have now is a down arrow. We don't have no up arrow right now on the daily. If we look at the weekly, we see the same thing. We have a down arrow but no up arrow. So based on what I'm seeing according to the larger time frames, that this is definitely getting ready to go into a downtrend. All right, so we have a level of support here. I can draw a horizontal line right here, and we have a level of resistance up here. This is your operating range, if you will. So let's look at the smaller time frames real quick. We see we have a down arrow here. It looks like it's definitely coming down. All right, pretty obvious, but more than likely it's going to bounce off of this, come back up again. If this level of support is broken, I would say by about 100 points. If we take your crosshairs and draw 100 points is not very much. Okay, but if it breaks by like 100 points or so, then it's going to be going to a continuous long-term downtrend. And that's kind of what I'm expecting this to do. There's no guarantee at this point. We see that we have a strong level of support here. So I'm looking at the long-term downtrend, and I would only be placing sell trades right now. Even though the 4 hour shows buy, it's already bounced off of this resistance here and coming down. Even though there's no red arrow here on the 4 hour, it's definitely coming down. And more than likely it's going to break and keep on going down. Okay, so I would watch, if you trade on a smaller time frame like a 15-minute or a 5-minute, I would wait for this price to go up, and then that's when you want to sell. Okay, if I look at the 5-minute here, I can even draw I could draw a trend line right here and say that it's going to a downtrend according to the 5-minute. It's probably going to bounce off of this several times, keep going down. So be on the lookout for sell trades on US dollar, Canadian dollar this week. Okay. Next is Australian dollar, US dollar. If I look at the 4 hour chart, we see a similar situation where we have an up arrow here on the 4 hour. And if we draw a downtrend coming from here down, we see that we have a perfect downtrend pretty much, and has in fact broken, finally broken. Because what happened was, and I can draw a horizontal line here as well. Okay, we saw the price come up, and this is kind of what I was showing you on pound USD. All right, if we look at pound USD on a 4 hour chart, the same thing is going to happen here. The price is going to come down, and eventually it's going to break up. If we look at the AUD USD, the price had come up, back down, hovered here for a little bit, and then finally broke out. So now that the price is broken trend, we see a perfect opportunity to buy long term. All right, and if we look at the daily, we see an up arrow, and the weekly as well. I don't know about monthly. Monthly we see an up arrow. So on all the larger time frames, it's definitely showing that it wants to go up. And I'm thinking now, if you want to trade long term, now is the perfect time to buy and just hold the trade. If you look at the 1 hour and 30-minute, it's showing that it wants to go down. So in the beginning, early stages of this week, probably Monday going into Tuesday, we're going to see this coming down. But then it's going to retrace and go back up. And I could look at a previous level of resistance that's now a support that was broken. And I see this right here, or even this right here, as a level of resistance that was broken and has now become a support. Okay, so this is a pretty hard level of resistance right here. And now it's become a level of support. So what I would probably do, knowing that the long term is going to be going up, I would place a buy limit pin and order somewhere right around here at the 0.69, say 69060 or 6900, 0.69000, however you want to call it, 69,000. I don't know, but that would be a perfect time, a perfect place to place a buy limit pin and order. All right, that would be perfect right there. Or you can just wait for this to come down and start to go back up again, and then you can buy. Either way, doesn't matter. Long term is definitely going up. Okay, and then the last is the New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Okay, we see a very similar fashion, right? And usually AUD, USD, NZD, USD follow the same patterns almost. Not exactly, but very similar. And we see we have a long downtrend. The price had come up here, but never broke trend and finally came back down. This is why I always stress it's important to draw your trend lines and wait for the trend to break. So now if we draw a downtrend here, we see that at this point, all these points here that match up perfect for the downtrend. And now it has broken out of this downtrend. So long term, this is definitely going to be going up. Now is an excellent time to buy. And if we look at the smaller time frames, like the 1 hour or 30 minute, we see that we have a sell right now. So my guess is that it's going to come down to this trend line, which is now a support. It was a resistance. Now it's a support. Going to bounce off of this and continue up. Okay. If I go back to the 1 hour, this is going to come down to somewhere right around here and then bounce off of this and continue up. Okay. So very, very simple. Wait for this to drop a ways. You know, probably about Tuesday I would get in on a buy. That's my best guess. If you want to sell right now, you can, but to be 100% safe, go by the larger trend, which is buy. Okay, and place a buy limit pennant order somewhere in this area here. Okay, that is my best guess right now, what I would do, and wait for this to go up. And once it comes down to this support level and goes back up again, that's the time you want to buy. So either you do a buy limit pennant order, or you do it manually and just wait for this to go back up again. Alright, probably about Tuesday. So that is my analysis for all the major pairs right here. These are my predictions on what's going on. I'm going to continue doing this every weekend. I'm going to bring this out to you. This way you know what to expect for the week. Okay, so just let me know if you have any questions about this. If you think my predictions are right, accurate, whatever. You know, if you have a different prediction and you want to share it with me, please feel free to do so. You can contact me on my personal Facebook. There's a link below in the description of this video for my personal Facebook. Also, there's a link below for my private Facebook group. You can join my private Facebook group if you have not, and post any questions or comments there. I will share this in my private Facebook group, and then you can have an open discussion in my Facebook group. Okay, so I ask that you please, you know, just let me know if any questions. Reach out to me. Let me know if you think my predictions are right or whatever. Just let me know how I'm doing. Okay, that's all I have to, for this week, and I look forward to helping you, and you have yourself a wonderful weekend. Okay, thank you.